All right, this has been quite the exciting week. What is this? April 13th. All right, we are chatting Big Brother Canada. We are chatting about the rudeness of Miss Santana. Santana. The
Not
rudeness
Santana.
of Miss,
Her name
also
is.
discussing, whatever her name is. I can't stand her anyway. We're talking about how much of a flop Miss Claudia is. Real tired of her. So that looks like the showman's is broken up. What? Definitely talking about that. Obviously, took a big L tonight, but we did see the coronation of a one Miss Queen Kusi. But now, was this the best thing for her game? And did the crown maybe set her up to fail? All this and more. All right. I am Kyle Petty, and I am joined, as always, by my festy besties, John Dunphy and Gina Morgino, and this is Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast. You can find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod or on our unupdated website at stratchatpod.com. I'm impressed that I did that while I was looking down. I wanted to be like John and like retweet us in the moment, like live now. We. All right. So anyway, Ty won HOH. Were you excited?
No.
No.
I was so mad.
I was slightly excited because I thought that we would get a chaotic week. I mean, we did. And if it wasn't for Canada voting for our Direct Eviction Protection Insurance, we actually might have gotten what we wanted, but instead, Santina was safe, also known as Santana. What is this about? Why did
BB Twitter is obsessed with her? They're
why?
I've been seeing everybody tweeting all night long, like, "Oh my god, yes, Queen Santina," and I'm like, "Am I the only idiots that don't like her?"
I don't get it. I don't get it.
No, it's funny too because I've even seen people tweeting like pictures of Kuzi and Santina together, being like, "This would be an iconic final two." Here's the thing for me. I didn't like Santina after she betrayed John Michael and was working with Zach and Ty. Mm-hmm. I told you guys, I started to come around on her a little bit after that when she kind of separated from Zach and Ty, and I felt like maybe a lot of what we didn't like about her was because of just aligning with them so early, and that might have been anybody if in that week one HOH. But after this week, like, I'm sorry, Santina, you don't like the waffles? Shut up and make your own. Like, what is wrong with you?
How can anybody stand behind her after all this?
When I tell you people are like standing her, I mean during the episode, I saw people like comparing her to a bunch of BB greats, but like people were saying that she is BB Canada's Janelle. And I'm like, wait a second. There were like a number of tweets of people being like, yes, the Janelle of BB Canada. And I'm like, where is this disconnect? Because I am so not where you are.
About that.
Yeah. I mean, like, I know she's won 2 HOHs, but one of those, the secret HOH, was definitely luck. Like, it's not like she's like a comp beast like Janelle is.
Right.
Like, I feel like there's no comparison. She's just rude to everybody, and she's mediocre at comps.
I gotta say, the rudeness thing too. It wasn't even just that she was rude in the moment. It's that she also then went to the diary room and like doubled down on her rude and said it, and like, but it almost was like a triple down because she like said it as if like not only she thought she was. Oh my God, I just never saw anything like it. Because she's literally sat there as if people were going to start cheering for her in the moment. As if Canada was like, yes, girl. Like, not only are you trying to justify it, you just thought everyone else would too. It was the weirdest.
It's not even that her perception of what was going on was so off because she literally like for the second time, shit on someone else's cooking who was nice enough to like cook her something to eat. Like, yeah, you don't have to like it, but be a little nicer about it. Someone's like cooking for you. She went into Kuzi and was like, yeah, there's some rude ass people in this house, and was saying that everybody else was rude for getting mad that she was being a bitch. Like, what are you talking about?
And then did you notice Kuzi at the end of that? Because at first she was comforting her and everything, and then as Santina started like telling her what was going on, Kuzi's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Her face was
I'm
like,
not really co-signing on that. Like,
Yeah.
okay, hold on. Now that you told me what was going on, let me put some distance up this one.
Yeah. And I also,
Yeah.
you know, we have to, you know, obviously we don't have feeds. These digital dailies show us very little. I really think that if a lot of what we saw from Santina, if we saw that before the voting was taking place, I'm not so sure she would have gotten the safety this week.
Yeah,
So,
I'd like to know what Canada thinks now.
Well,
Although, what Gina's saying here,
right. I was going to
seems
say
not
no,
be a-
but like literally all of BB Twitter is like, oh my God, she's so blunt. I love it. She just says whatever's on her mind. She's great. That's my queen. That's mother. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
That's mother. My mother taught me much better. Okay?
I mean, obviously there are still going to be people supporting her. There are still people out there supporting Zach. Okay, there's no accounting
for sense.
Right. I don't think that she would have necessarily been the leading vote getter for safety if we got to actually see some of the stuff as voting was happening.
Oh, I hope not. I hope not.
But I could be wrong. Yeah, I could be wrong.
It's not what Canadians are supposed to be about. What they're supposed to be about. Okay, it's King Jonathan. All right. Yeah. What an exit.
Sweet, lovely little man.
Yeah. And what a horrible, horrible set, as John said, of unfortunate events that got us here. You know, I gotta say, I'm gonna go on record and say I'm getting really tired of Hope. Really tired. Stop talking about put me up, fam. Like, would you stop it? Go sit over there, like not on the block, and stop telling everybody to ruin your game. Like, what's wrong with this man?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
And like acting as if it's some crazy strategy. It's like nobody wants to go on the block. No. Why are you acting like it's this mastermind thing? And then it finally gets you in trouble now, like real trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And like just could not stop crying. It's like you
the crying was wild for someone who's literally been asking to be put up. Like
yeah. And I lost it. Oh well. Something about Hope also.
No, I listen, you can't get that upset when your whole strategy has been to just continuously volunteer for the block, and then when it gets you and someone else in your alliance in trouble, you act like, oh God, how could this happen? It's like like you guaranteed that you would be on the block. One person on your alliance would automatically be up no matter what. I do wonder if he hadn't volunteered though. Do you think then would the nominees have been Renee and Shanaya?
I don't know. I don't know if Claudia would have accepted that.
Yeah.
Not that it seems it matters much what she thinks.
I was going to say, I feel like her opinion was really not going to sway either way.
Yeah, I don't know. I do want to double back to Hope though, because I remembered my other point. And it was, you know, we see oftentimes that once somebody starts getting used as a pawn, it keeps happening. And that ends up being their demise, which is why people get very, very upset when they're put on the block that very first week. Like Anika, who, as a sidebar, survived that one. Remember, she was on the block right out of the gate. And it hasn't hit it since. So kudos to Anika, probably because she started cooking.
Yeah,
I guess not if Santina has anything to say about it, but I don't understand. But to go back to Hope's strategy, I don't understand why he thinks this is a good thing, because now whether you're asking for it or not, you're putting yourself into that rhythm of being on the block.
Right, and you see what's been happening to Renee. Like Renee, right. I don't think there's been a week that Renee hasn't hit the block.
Right, and now when Renee does eventually go, you're the new Renee, and only because you set yourself up that way, like because you asked to be there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to get him to the end.
Yeah.
Which is also why I'm not sure that I would have made the decision to keep Hope. What did you think of that? You know, the crown basically now choosing, you know, obviously Hope over Jonathan.
I genuinely wasn't sure this whole episode which way this vote was going to go.
Right. Neither was I. I wasn't sure until the first crown vote came in.
Yeah.
Then it was like, all right, well, damn.
Do you think that they were nervous? Because we saw all of the non-crown people voted for Jonathan to stay. So, like, do you think that was was the Crown, the remaining members of the Crown, were they worried that, Hope would turn on them and wouldn't be a vote for them in jury if they voted him out? Because it seems like Jonathan, no matter what, is going to have their back. You know what I mean? But except for maybe like Santina. See, that's the thing that's funny too. We love Jonathan. We don't like Santina, but Jonathan and Santina seems pretty tight in there, which is funny to me. But I feel like the people in the members of the Crown are more likely to get a vote from Jonathan at the end than maybe Hope would be. It seemed like some of what Hope was saying, he was starting to get a little erratic and seemed like he might have been worrying some of them about the way he was like, oh, if I get voted out, I don't know how I'm going to take it. Whereas Jonathan was like, oh, no worries. Like, no matter what happens, I have your back. I'll always support the Crown. Are we now thinking about, like, is this a jury management move?
Yeah, very well could be. Very well could be. I didn't think of it that way. I hadn't really thought of it much at all. That's interesting. Good take. Good take.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for that. I'm usually ready to challenge what most people say. But now I got nothing, so now I don't even know where to go. I was satisfied. All right.
Yeah. The only reason I was thinking about it was because it seemed like there was a lot of debate, a lot of discussion about it. And then in that scene in the bedroom where it was, I don't remember exactly who was there. I know Hope was there, Anika and Kuzi were all there. And Hope randomly was just like, do you think that Jonathan would stay loyal to the Crown? Like, would he expose us or whatever? Like, I think Daniel C was there also, because he pretty much was like, I think we're already exposed. But the fact that Hope was like even asking those questions, I wonder if that raised a red flag. Like, if we send Hope out, we might lose him as a potential vote for one of us if we make it to the end. I don't know.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. So, okay. First of all, I would like to at least highlight the fact that Big Brother Canada really made good with me this week, because we got 2 sponsored accounts. Okay.
Yeah.
I saw your tweet and I freaking died.
Yes. Not only did we get a sponsored Veto, thank you, belairdirect, but we also got a live sponsored HOH comp by way of Circle K. So I was a very, very happy Kyle this week, despite the rest of the turmoil and chaos going on here. But first, we got to see Shanaya being selected to play the Veto by way of TAY. Much of the chagrin of the Crown, particularly Kuzi. What was that?
So dumb.
Yeah, I have no idea why he chose her. There has been nothing to suggest he might possibly be aligned with her. I mean, I happen to be happy that he chose her, but why? Like, for what reason? I don't understand what his game plan was there.
He didn't, I know, because a big like point of contention between TAY and the girls was that like how close TAY seems to be with Kuzi, right? And when I say the girls, I mean Renee, Shanaya, and Claudia, that group. So like they don't understand why TAY is so close with Claudia. So I understand you don't want to pick Kuzi, maybe not Anika, but I don't see why it would have been an issue to pick somebody like Daniel C, who was close with Zach and by extension was probably friendly with TAY also earlier in the game.
Nice neutral pick.
Right, very neutral pick. Like, why would you pick the one person who is most likely, if she wins, to save Renee, who you claim is your target now that you can't nominate Santina?
Yeah, there was nothing about it that I was able to like make heads or tails of. I just don't know why that was his move.
Yeah, I hated it. I'm actually not happy that he chose.
Yeah,
Shanaya.
I'm not happy either.
Okay, I don't like how this turned out, like, at all. I do think it creates an interesting conversation point around Shanaya's win, obviously. What did you think of the belairdirect Veto this week? Why are their competitions so much like more involved than ours? Every time like you want something, it's like, oh, we would only do half of this.
I thought this
right.
was
All of these competitions are like 2 of ours combined. I don't know like why they're all so much more complicated.
Honestly, it's even more than that though, because every round had 2 parts. Like it was like like this was very involved, and I really liked it. I really
loved it.
It was really fun to watch. Yeah.
Like they had. I feel like our version in BBUS sometimes struggles to come up with one good concept for a game in a competition. This had not just 2, but each round, like we said, was 2 different activities each separate round. I don't even remember how many rounds there were, but like,
3 or 4.
and it was all fun. I actually didn't think there was not one part of it that I was like, oh, this is stupid.
No, it was a hoot. This one was a hoot.
No, it was a really good one.
And Shanaya wins, and obviously now wants to remove Renee, which seems, I mean, I think which is a good move for her.
Now, this is what gets me. Like, why would she do anything else?
Right.
I am, yeah. I think it depends, though.
Yeah.
Good move. It depends on what happens here now, because
it does.
Because Ty, especially with Claudia ending the showmance, Ty has nowhere to go but over to the leftovers of the crown, and he's going to be the bottom of that. But that leaves, I feel like Claudia, Shanaya, and Renee as this group of 3
island
over there. And
right.
If they don't have any power, the entirety of the crown is now going to want to get Shanaya out, probably before they go after somebody like Ty.
To be fair,
I just don't think the crown went about it the right way. You don't bring Shanaya into a room and surround her with people and try to force her to do it. It should have been like somebody like a Daniel C. just having a casual conversation. Well, I think the majority of the house, like, do you protect your friend or do you think about your game? If it's a more casual one-on-one conversation, I think, because I get it. Shanaya and Renee and Claudia are super tight. They want to work together, but I don't know if this is the best move for your game now, especially now that Claudia and Ty are not even in a showmance anymore.
But again, the thing for me is that, let's say the showmance didn't end. If she doesn't use the veto on Renee, Shanaya is the next line in the line of fire anyway. She's the next target of them anyway, no matter what. She's, it's going to be her, Renee, then Shanaya, then probably Claudia. So if you're going to be a target anyway, you might as well save whatever numbers you have in the hopes that one of them might get power, Like, save whatever little numbers you have, because if she gets rid of Renee, who does she have? Of course, she's going to be one of the next to go. So at least save somebody that's going to be a vote for you.
I think Ty would have been the next to go there, though. I think that because the crown would have been intact. I think that by sending Jonathan out now, Ty shifts over to that side because he's a number for them, and now they still have 5.
I don't know, though, because I feel like Ty would have been one of those people of like, okay, let's like have him as an extension of the alliance for as long as we need him for numbers, and then he'd be the first one to get cut. You know what I mean?
I don't think that the crown thinks they need Ty, though, if Jonathan stays. Because now you take out Ty, it leaves Shanaya and Renee over there. Everybody's been gunning for Renee also. I don't know. I don't know if this is a great move. I think now Shanaya she might have been one of the first that they targeted if Jonathan stayed, but now I think she is the first that they target, and we know that Kuzi's the new HOH. So,
listen, I think this was a toughie. I think if you use it, you have all the problems that you just stated there, right? But if you don't use it, you also now run the risk of who would ever trust you enough to align with you now? Because now I know that when you have power, you may not actually work with me, as a team. Wouldn't feel very protected with you. So there's a problem there. I actually think that Shania's answer was secret option C, and that was to not win this at all. Like, right. I don't know why she needed to get in this.
She really wanted to win it. The whole point was to keep herself safe and then also keep Renee safe. So it was like,
I don't think that was,
I don't know. I feel like she needed Renee. Without Renee, she's the next person in the line of fire. And then who does she have to potentially vote for her? Maybe Claudia.
Right, but I think she's in that position now anyway.
Right.
I know, but that's why I'm saying, if you're going to be in the position anyway, save a number.
But I don't think that number helps you.
Right. You're saving a number, but you're also saving a person that doesn't compete. So at least now if you got in, I almost think it still may have been better to let Renee go, because then the crown would have left you alone now for a week or so. And maybe you have another chance to get some more power in there. Maybe there's some other twist. Now we got this fatal feast. I don't know. But Renee's not going to win anything for you. So she's not, she's a vote, but she's again always going to be on the block. So she's not.
Right. I also think I think that Renee, has been on the block all season. I think Santina has shot up the list of targets with all the rudeness about the food and everything. Anika doesn't like that. I feel like Shanaya would have been one of the top targets, maybe top 3 or 4. But now I feel like she is the top target because of using this veto and going against very clearly what the entire house. And I think this is a very different thing. I know we saw earlier in the season Zach and Ty trying to bully people into doing what they wanted. But this wasn't a situation of 1 or 2 people, trying to force one person to maybe even go against the whole house. Like, this was the whole house being like, this is what we want to happen. You know what I mean? Like, so are you going to save this one person and make all of us mad? I just don't think they went about it the right way. It should have been one person having a conversation with Shanaya, being like, "Oh yeah, like if you want to use it, you should totally use it." But this is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, but also, even if you're going to come at her as a group, then don't do it 1 hour before. Like, that is way too jarring. Like, that is the timing of that was way off. Like, everything about that was a disaster. I don't really blame her for sticking to her guns. It's like, you know what? And 90 minutes ago, this is what I was doing. Like, I'm just going to stick with this because this is like too much. But I just don't think the best decision for her was to win it all.
Yeah, she shouldn't have won it all. You're right. You're right.
I think it's too dangerous either way. Although, if the situation now became that Hope won, who would Ty have put up then? And she could have been in trouble anyway.
I think it would have been her.
But now, do you think that the House would have voted Renee or voted for Shanaya to go? I actually think still Renee might have gone.
I don't know.
Renee probably still would have gone, yeah.
Yeah, I think she would have ended up on the block, but I still think she would have been safe. And that might have still put her into a still better position going into the next week.
I also think, honestly,
maybe
I think it's a much harder thing for Claudia to argue to Ty, taking Renee down. But like, if Renee is already up and that's your target anyway, I feel like Claudia could absolutely convince Ty to put up Jonathan in Hope's place anyway, rather than Shanaya. She's like, Renee and Shanaya are my 2 closest people in the house. You already have Renee up. Don't put Shanaya up. Like, just at the very least, put up somebody like Jonathan, because then we can send your target home anyway. So I don't necessarily think Shanaya would have ended up there.
Oh, that's interesting too. Look at you. Good take Thursday. Shutting it down. Who didn't have a good take? That's Claudia. Her reaction, now granted, I think that all the crying and the ballyhooing and the carrying on, I thought that was all a bit much.
Wild.
I
was like, why are we acting? I was going to say, why are we
BB10?
acting like people are dying? Like, it's a game. Why are we carrying on like this?
Yeah. Way too much. Way too much.
I do also wonder if some of this is because it feels like we're are we 6 weeks into the game now? But we've really only had like 3 evictions. Like,
I was gonna say, I don't know if we're that many weeks in. Like, we're that many evictions in.
Right.
I don't think we're that many weeks in.
Like, half the people have like taken themselves out of the game. So I feel like to be in there for that amount of time, getting to know these people, and the only people that like have really left, or half of the people that have left, have done so like on their own accord. You know what I mean? It's like they've already been in there for like a month and a half, but they're just still getting used to like now losing these people that they've been getting to know and been getting to like work with. So I don't know, maybe they're having a harder time adjusting to this sort of thing than a normal season was.
But again, I don't know what it is about this cast that doesn't understand that like the veto is part of the game. Like, we saw when like last time that a veto was used, everybody was like, oh my god, I can't believe that. What was it, Hope? I can't believe that Hope would do something like this. Like, this is so ridiculous. Like, so mad. He's now the enemy. Like, nope, just use the veto that he won. Now Shanaya used the veto to save her ally. How dare she? Oh my god, this terrible person. I can't believe she would do that test. Use the veto that she won. Like, that is a part of the game. You win the veto and you use it to benefit your game. That's just how the game works. Why is everybody so mad about the veto being used this season?
I do think they're very different situations, though. Like, that was Zach and Ty trying to force Hope to not use the veto that he won to take himself off the block. Whereas, like, Again, I don't think that
Okay,
they
but
went
again, like whether it's a good
I
move or
don't-
a bad move for her, she still used the veto to take her ally off the block. That's just
Absolutely.
how the veto works.
No, and I agree with you. I do. But I think they're very different situations because I don't think it's crazy. Like we've seen at times in the past, like an alliance trying to convince somebody not to use the veto or something like that. Like that happens. Like I think the Zach and Ty thing was so ridiculous.
It's not so
because
much the convincing that
Hope
gets
is
me.
on the block. Like I feel like, and again, I just think it was done really poorly by the Crown. Like I think that you could have done this in a way where it was like, oh, let's have a game talk. Oh, you're thinking about using this? Well, just think about this. Like if you don't use it, then blah blah blah. If you do use it, blah blah blah. Like I think that's very different than Zach and Ty cornering Hope.
It wasn't really so much the
threatening.
conversation about trying to convince her not to use it that got me. It was like the crying and the weeping and the carrying on that happened afterwards.
I mean,
like,
well,
right.
I think those are two very different things then. If you're talking about somebody that's threatening someone not to use the veto that they want to take themselves down, and then the reaction to now this person that we really loved has left as a result of this. I don't know.
Yeah, I really thought the reaction was more that like they were just upset that she used the veto because they just didn't want her to. I didn't think it was that they were upset about the mechanics of the veto. Like they were just
I know, but it's just the fact that they were like, oh my god, Shanaya did this. I can't believe it. And it's like, well, I mean, Ty was the one who appointed Jonathan as the replacement nominee. So if we're gonna be mad at somebody for Jonathan leaving, maybe make it be the person who put him on the block. But okay, you know.
But that's what's going to be the result no matter what, though, because the only choice that he now had was to put somebody from the Crown on the block. So whether it was Jonathan or Daniel or Anika or Kuzi, you were going to have this reaction because he wasn't at this point. The showmance was still intact, so he wasn't going to put up Claudia. And now Renee came down, and Shanaya was untouchable because she was the veto holder. So,
and quite honestly, even if the showmance wasn't still intact, I still don't think that soon into it that he would just throw her up there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So like either way, no matter what, this is what you were going to get. I just think it was heightened because it was Jonathan. I don't necessarily think you would have gotten quite the same reaction if you did Daniel. Just saying.
I mean,
they would have been upset, but I don't know that they would have carried on this way. I think a lot of that also had to do with the fact that it was Jonathan.
But like that, but that's what I'm saying too. Like the fact that it was specifically Jonathan was Ty's fault, not Shanaya's fault. Ty could have put up anybody else.
Yeah, but
he chose to put up Jonathan. So if we're upset that Jonathan's going home, why aren't we mad at Ty?
But I think this was the most likely thing, though, like because Ty is, I think, much closer to Kuzi than anybody else in that alliance. And so if Kuzi, in conversations that we're probably not seeing because there are no feeds, if he's not going to put up Kuzi, Kuzi's probably also in his ear. You can't put up Anika, you can't put up Daniel, because they seem to be a much tighter trio within the Crown than any other three members of that group. Like there's clearly a tighter group between those three than, I feel like Hope and Jonathan, super tight with the three of them, but it's Anika, Kuzi, and Daniel. If they have their way, they would be the ones that, say we're going final three together. I could see Hope and Jonathan being cut. If they got down to final five, it would be Jonathan and Hope out next, and Anika, Kuzi, and Daniel going to the end. That's what I think.
Kyle, why are you making faces over there?
That's probably true. That's probably true. So, okay. So Jonathan's gone now, right? We got our next sponsored comp, right? The HOH, by way of Circle K. First time we got some trivia, which I was very happy to see. I like to see who was flexing their muscles. We also like a good old fashioned knockout comp, So this was a good one to watch. This was really, really fun. However, so Kuzi wins, and I was excited, but then you're excited because she's safe. But it's like I'm not so sure that this puts her in the best position. This was maybe not a great time to win. Because now what does she do? I feel like this is because just makes her more of a target. This is now her second time winning HOH, right? Now she's not going to be safe next week. So it just makes her look like more of a threat. And it almost looked like she knew that in that moment. The way she kept her head down, I don't know. Was she thinking, or was she like getting annoyed that she was advancing? Because it almost felt like those other crowns, like Daniel and them, just kind of threw it to her.
I was going to say, for both of the times that she went up, she did not answer the question. She got it because the other person got it wrong, right?
Right.
Or no, the second time she did answer it.
She jumped in pretty quick on that last one to get the win.
To get the win.
Yeah.
Because at that point, she needed.
You don't want Claudia, yeah.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, now the stakes changed. But up before that, like she was up against other crown people that I felt. I don't know. It just looked like they were just tossing it to her.
See, a lot of this depends on what goes on with whatever this fatal feast ends up being. But I think that, I guess if we want to just consider, okay, Kuzi's back in power. How does she get through this with the least blood on her hands and like without doing the most damage? I think that you could get through the week like pretty easily if you're Kuzi, if you put up like Renee and Santina, and the noms didn't change. I just don't know.
It's going to be any combination of Renee, Santina, Shanaya, maybe Claudia.
Right.
If you have to.
Yes. I think she can get through her week okay. It's the week after, when she's now in danger. I think this just makes her look like even more of a threat.
Yeah,
we're already talking about how strong she is socially. Now she's got another comp win. And now we're also showing that we're good at trivia. So we've been paying attention, like we know things. That's all. So scary flex.
Yeah, I think that obviously it depends on the twist and how the week plays out, but I feel like if you can get one of Renee or Santina out, or if one of them comes down, maybe a Claudia or Shanaya, like you have the power this week to make sure that your alliance stays in the majority. Because right now, there's only 8 people left in the house. 4 of them are the crown. One of them I feel like is Ty, who Kuzi kind of has in her pocket at this point. So if you can get out one of those other 4. And honestly, it sucks that they're all, I'm sorry, there's 9 people in the house. 4 are the crown, and Ty is the one in Kuzi's pocket. So if you can get out one of the other 4, and it sucks that they're all women, but if you can get out one of Claudia, Renee, Santina, or Shanaya, now you cut it down to 8, and you really still have like a pretty solid amount of numbers in there, moving forward. Especially if like Renee's been on the block and people have been wanting her out, and Santina has been ruffling a lot of feathers. Like, I don't think that you're going to be put in any danger if you can get either one of those people out. The only danger is, like you said, is that each comp she wins, she becomes more and more of a threat.
Right. Yeah, but maybe that won't matter. Maybe that could even be forgotten because of the fatal feast.
Right. And it's
actually do we have
funny.
any more information on what that means? Like, was there anything in maybe the dailies or something to allude to like?
I don't know. John Michael tweeted. He put up a poll on Twitter asking people if they thought that the fatal feast was going to be just an instant eviction or a double eviction potentially. I just feel like too many people have walked out of the game to do a double right now. I don't know.
But I mean, she said someone is going home on Tuesday, so that either means that Thursday is canceled or 2 go home this week.
Right. Well, I mean, Canada does like their instant evictions. They do like that.
So wait, Arissa actually said someone is going home on Tuesday?
Yeah.
I didn't even hear that part.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks because I feel like you could have made Fatal Feast like whoever the feast is fatal for is just an automatic nominee, and there's 3 nominees this week. Hold
on. Let's not say what we think sucks. We don't even know what the feast is. Like maybe this could be absolutely delicious. Don't yuck somebody's potential yum.
Do you think it'll be sponsored by Wendy's?
Is this where we see?
I was going to say, could this be the points?
Another could say.
Whoever has the least Wendy's points, you're out. Imagine that.
Speaking of twists, what is happening in the library? What is this?
Clearly, no one knows.
What is going on? I'm so confused. This whole segment with Daniel, I was like, what is happening? Fine. I'm fine with them not knowing what's going on. Can you tell us what's going on? I would like to know what they're looking at.
Right. And please do, because what's strange about it is that like it's almost like you keep giving us these little nuggets that they're looking in the library and they're looking for things and ooh, but then they don't actually find it. It's almost like you're letting us know that someone will eventually find it.
Right.
Like, but you don't know that someone eventually will because it hasn't happened yet. So
they're editing it as if it's like one of these like Survivor type shows where it's like, we know this is going to have a nice payoff. So we're giving you nuggets of what's to come, but we don't know what's to come because we're watching it in real time. What if
honestly,
nothing comes of it? Just tell me what
Yeah.
it means. I don't care if they know what it
right,
means.
right. I would prefer if they told us, like, oh, if somebody manages to put the clues together, then they'll have the power to do this. And then every time someone goes in that room and starts to see a few clues,
Let
we'd
us
be like,
in.
oh, they might get it. They might get it. And
Yeah,
even if
for
they
all
don't,
I know, you're
let
just looking
us
for
know
a
what it
slot
means.
pass. Like, I don't
Right.
care.
I don't care if they know what it means. Or if by some random chance someone's just looking through random books and they say things and you're like, this doesn't actually mean anything. That's fine too. But tell me if it means something or not. Like, I don't want to keep watching these segments and being like, all right, is this going to pay off? Or is it not? I don't know what this is.
they don't even have to tell us in an episode. They could, like, on the BB Canada socials, they could just put up a video being like, so this is what all these clues are about in the library. You know what I mean? Like, just give us some kind of like,
give me a little
like how even
Marissa, like with a magnifying glass.
Even like how Survivor does those things where sometimes they'll pan into those like word puzzles that you have to like unjumble or whatever, and it's like your little like fun thing that you have to do on the website while you're watching the episode. Make it something like that like it's not even a part of anything, but like we know what it is. Like just put it somewhere so that I know what I'm looking at.
Right. Because I'm not excited. I'm not excited, and you're trying to make me be.
I'm especially not excited knowing the fact that like we're watching it in real time, so it might lead to nothing. At least tell me what the intention is.
Right. I could not believe that I literally watched Daniel get up at 4:50 a.m. So you tell me, so that he can go snooping around, and we still don't have anything. I was like, wait. I'm like, that's it. This ended with.
I
no
also
answer?
like because we never see anything about this. I didn't know Daniel knew about it. All we saw was Santina open a book and be like, "Ooh, the unseen game," and close the book, and we never heard about it again. Now all of a sudden, Daniel's waking up at 4 a.m. When was this conversation about? There's something in the library. Like,
it might have been a Dally, and we just skipped it.
I would have preferred, like, that. However many minutes that took. Show us something else that's been going on. Show us another argument that somebody had or something. Like, I don't need to see Daniel walking around going, what does this mean? What does this mean? And then just giving up. I don't need to see that. Who cares?
Are you telling me Renee did not mention her BOO-TAY even once? I would have rather that than watching him find nothing.
Let's not talk crazy.
It's literally hide and seek and nobody won. They just walked away.
Yeah.
Said, oh, well, I don't care. Stupid. Really, really stupid. So I never posted anybody's rankings from last time. Sorry for trying to move. Whatever. But what do you think this week? Who are your favorites? Who are knocking your socks off?
I think I have my 3, but I think I'm going to be in the minority here, so you guys go first.
Whoa.
I know why. You go first for once. You're actually set. Let's hear
if you already know.
Maybe we'll agree.
I'm sorry. I know you're not going to agree based on the conversation we've already had, but my 3 are going to Shanaya.
Wow, Shanaya.
Whoa, 3 for Shanaya?
She's getting my 3.
Wow. Shanaya.
Listen, if for no other reason, I just respect somebody that doesn't just go with whatever the house wants and is playing their own game. So, like, kudos for that.
I like that reason.
But also, like...
Even if it gets them evicted next week.
Like, still, if you at least in your head perceive, like, okay, well, what's good for me isn't what's good for the rest of the house. So I don't really care what they want me to do. I'm going to do what I want me to do because this is how I think I'm going to set myself up.
Let's hear it
so, like,
to our guns.
Yeah, have the guts to make the move that's not popular but is going to set you up. I respect that. I'm here for it.
Hear it for the girls.
Yeah. All the women who are independent.
I'm here
Throw
for
your
it.
hands up at me. Indeed. Who's getting you 2 points?
My 2 points are going to Kuzi because she's Queen Kuzi. Of course, you got to give it to Kuzi, and she just won another HOH. What a queen! Yeah, and I also love. I don't remember which of the many awkward conversations this happened in, but like there was something where she was like, "I wasn't there for the fight." Like she just loves the drama so much, and she's like, what do you mean I wasn't here and a fight was happening out there? Where the hell was I? Like, it's just so funny that she's so, like, into the chaos.
Fair.
And then my last point is going to go to Renee. Because given the fact that, like, literally the block star of the season, and she still has yet to go anywhere. Which, like, granted, none of it was really to her own doing because Miss Girl does not know how to win a competition, but she's still here, and I'll respect her for it.
And what did Kuzi say? She goes, all she's done in this competition is lose.
Yeah.
And also, like, with Shanaya and Renee both being in my rankings, I love the underdog. So they're not in the majority alliance, and I want to root for them.
Okay. Great. Good for you. There's a very defensive energy that's coming off you.
No, I'm just
that's
because
right.
I know that you guys don't agree, so I'm just
You
stating
know,
my case. We
just-
always
oof,
back up our
it's very-
rankings. Okay,
Oof. Yeah,
we
it's just,
we
I don't
always
know.
give
It's just a different,
reasons, and I'm just giving
different
my
fire. Just a
reasons.
different fire on tonight. Different fire. Are you ready, John?
I'm ready.
You are, huh? Go ahead.
Yeah. My
What
number
the-
one this week, getting 3 points. It's
Uh,
Queen Kuzi.
Kuzi.
She has ascended to the throne once again.
Nice.
Love her. Love her
Nice.
so much. Love her dancing through all the drama.
Yes, love her personality. Absolutely.
I'm giving 2 points to Anika because no matter how many times Santina insults her, rudely insults her, she continues to cook for the entire house.
Yeah.
And they all seem to enjoy it just fine. So
Right.
screw you, Santina. And then you know what?
Good.
I'm actually giving my last point. I haven't, I was really hopeful and rooting for him coming into the season. Was not a huge fan of his, but I've been liking him a little bit more lately. I'm going Daniel C.
What?
And for 1 point. Yeah.
Oh my. All right.
Might I ask why?
Yeah. Might I as well.
Because he's sticking by Kuzi and Anika now.
Whew. All right. Okay.
Who
Yeah,
else?
real
I mean,
point.
I got to be honest too. The pickings are getting a little slim here. I don't really want to give a point to Hope, who's volunteering
no.
to go up on the block.
Oh no.
I don't want to give a point to Claudia, who has just now realized that Ty has been disrespectful to her all season.
Right.
I don't really want to give a point to Renee's BOO-TAY. I can't give a point to Santina, who's been just a jerk.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I don't really want to give a point to Shanaya either. And Ty sucks. So I'm going Kuzi, Anika, and Daniel.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Best of the worst.
Process of elimination.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, I'm tossing my top points to Anika.
Ooh.
Yeah, really just for I give her a lot of credit for not honestly just fucking decking Santina for that waffle thing. And this is on the heels of the garlic bread comment.
garlic
Right,
bread.
that's what it was 2
Yes.
times.
Yes, within 12 hours, Santina was like, "Papa!" It's like, and
But
the fact
what
that
got
Anika
me
was, she really kept it together.
What got me about the garlic bread one too was that she was like, "Oh, just give me a piece, whatever piece you want to give me." And she went, "Okay." So she gave her a piece, and she went, "This piece sucks." And it's like, "All right, well, you
Yeah.
said whatever piece I want to give
My
you, and I
gosh,
chose to give you this
so
one. So
rude.
kiss my ass." Like, what do you
Also,
mean?
like, she like the complaint wasn't even that it wasn't like it tasted bad or anything. It was apparently just too soft. The bread was too soft.
like cry about it. What do you mean?
Then put it back in the oven.
Yeah,
Like, nobody
toast it
said
up
like,
a little
"What's
bit.
wrong with you?" If it's not exactly to your liking, I mean, you can change it a little bit.
Can't hear you.
You're on mute, dear.
Okay, sorry. But literally the response there is just, "Hey, I like my bread a little crispier. I'm just going to toast mine a little bit more." And not like, "What do you mean
Right.
this bread is soft?" Like, that would
Like,
shut
yeah.
up.
I just
Maybe
like,
she likes
if
it
that
that
was
way.
me, I'd be like, "Oh, okay, all right, enjoy."
Like, I
gotta
prefer
tell
mine a
you-
little crispier. Okay.
Also, like, are waffles like in general like are they all that flavorful usually? Like,
Flavors
I
in the
usually-
syrup, I feel like.
right?
The batter can have a flavor. you
Well,
know.
absolutely.
Yeah, but it's not like your taste
But-
buds are like, "Oh my god, there's a waffle." Like, no,
Yeah,
it's just like
like
a
a
waffle.
plain waffle. Like usually with a waffle, I'll put some butter on it, some syrup or something, and then
Hell
it's
yeah.
great. Like if you just take a plain waffle,
Then it's great.
like I feel like it's not normally all of that. Like my taste buds are bursting from this
Right.
plain
I'm not
dry
sitting there
waffle.
I'm not sitting there eating Eggos like the most delicious thing I've ever eaten. Like, it's a waffle. Like,
Actually, I think Eggos are fucking slamming. I don't know what
I love
you're talking
Eggos.
about. Eggos are out of this world. Listen, the only variety I'm not really too keen on is chocolate chip. That's really like not for me. I don't understand chocolate in my breakfast. That's really
Oh.
like not my thing. But give me
That's a
a
hot take.
strawberry Eggo. A Sunday
strawberry
morning at
Eggo?
10:18 a.m. We'll shut it down.
okay, but again, a strawberry Eggo. The strawberry gives it the flavor.
Okay,
if you're
no,
just
no,
eating
no,
a
no, no,
plain
no. I'll
waffle,
take a plain one. I'll take a plain one. I'm just giving you my favorites, okay? But
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
here for plain old original. Don't even have to be buttermilk. Don't try me.
I also
love
have
an
to
egg.
say, I'm really glad because I saw a couple people starting to call this Wafflegate, but I really enjoy more. I started to see on Twitter people calling it the waffle debacle. And I
Yeah.
love that. That's all.
Yeah, Waffle Debacle actually came from production. They put it was on. They used it in the transition. It was
least
like
they
ding
did
ding
Oh, was
ding.
it
something.
like
It
a
was
little
like
hashtag
Anika.
on the thing?
It was like Anika versus. It was like Anika versus Santina. It said the Waffle Debacle, and I was like, oh, that's cute.
At least
Like,
they, at least production did something right this
yeah.
season.
No, they're funny. They're funny. I will say I do chuckle on like they have a nice narrator.
Yeah.
The pre-show is actually worth watching if you don't like. You should pay attention to it, even if you already know what happened. Like they narrated fun.
The little like isms that they put in it are so funny.
Yeah, it definitely. I definitely have laughed out loud like more than once. So if you're not paying attention, please do. Um, number 2, I gave Kuzi. Obviously, like she has to be in there. I cannot imagine a list without her on it.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to shock some people with my final point. It is going to Shanaya. It
Hell
is.
yeah.
I am proud
Hell
of her
yeah.
strong constitution, nice sturdy spirit. I don't know if it was the best decision game wise, but I am impressed with somebody who is not swayed, who said, you know what, I'm going to win this, and this is what I'm going to do, and come hell or high water, that is what I did. That I do believe deserves 1 point. I don't know. I don't know if it'll get her charting. I don't know if it's quite enough, but there you go, girl. So congratulations to you. Welcome to the conversation. That's it. That's all I have, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
think
Was
that's
there
all I got,
anything else
too.
that was like particularly exciting? Really? We
don't
talked
think
about
so.
Claudia being flop.
Yeah.
Totally
Claudia,
over her.
geez.
Totally over her. Yeah.
I will say too, I was laughing so hard because like she kept being like, "Oh, it's time for me to end this," and all this, and all of the tweets being like, "Girl, you're not in like a 5-year relationship with this man. Like, just don't work with him anymore."
I know.
Oh, she did give me a good chuckle though when she was saying nobody was this upset when I was on the block last
She was
week.
like, "I'm a little offended. Why did nobody care when I got put up as a replacement?"
I screamed. Like I actually cackled.
I think it was Puya from I Was a Podcast was like, if you're so like upset that no one cares when you go on the block, and then when someone else goes on the block, they're super upset. Like maybe you shouldn't be so offended. You should just be like, what am I doing wrong? How do I connect with more people? It's like, and maybe it's because you have linked yourself to someone who is the most toxic person in there.
Somebody was literally awful.
It was still funny though.
It was definitely funny.
More than a good chuckle.
Yeah, it was definitely funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just had to laugh. We have watched without feeds. We have seen all season Ty being so dismissive and disrespectful, and just like, just being awful to Claudia whenever she's trying to get like game information out of him or just talk game with him, make strategy with him, whatever. And like for the first time tonight, because I'm looking now, this was day 41. So we're more than halfway through the season, day wise, and you're just now saying you're talking to me very disrespectfully. It's like this is how he's been talking to you since the very beginning.
It also got me too, because like she's trying to talk to him about, okay, someone came down, so what do we do next? Or maybe he had already put up Jonathan, I don't really remember. But like she's trying to have a conversation with him, and he keeps cutting her off and being like, don't talk to me, don't talk to me, don't talk to me. And it's like, let her finish her sentence, and then you can respond however you want to respond. Stop trying to cut, like, just let her talk. You're mad at Shanaya. Why aren't you letting Claudia speak to you? Like,
he's talking to her like the way that like a mob boss would talk to somebody. He's like, listen, before we continue, you should think very carefully about what you say to me next. It's like,
right. It's like, dude, what do you mean?
Chill out.
I don't know if it's because I already don't like Ty, but something about the way that he put up the replacement nomination irked me too, because she took down Renee, and then he was like, oh, well, since my original nominations weren't respected, then I guess I'll have to put up. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah, that was
hold
dumb.
on. Like, I don't know why it got under my skin so bad, and I'm like, am I just being like overly sensitive to it because I already don't like Ty? But it made me feel so icky when he put it that way.
Well, yeah, because he's also making it sound as if like you just don't have a right to use the veto. Like because I'm the HOH, it should just go exactly how I want it to go, which is like a ridiculous premise.
Which again, like, does nobody on this season know how the veto works? Like, that's just part of the game. Sometimes your nomination gets vetoed and you have to pivot and put somebody else up. That's how it works.
Right, but I also thought that it was ridiculous that Claudia's like, oh, so you're threatening me that I'm going to go up if the veto was played. It's like, well, I'm telling you that I don't have a lot of options left. So like, she's also acting as if like, oh yeah, so we're going to use the veto. And it's whatever, it's a game. Just get over it. And it's like, well, no, I don't want to just get over it. I'm allowed to also say that I don't want this to happen. Like she's acting as if like you just have to be okay with whatever decision anyone makes. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Can't get mad. Can't get mad. Yeah. And it's like, no, we can get mad because I don't want it to happen. Like I'm not going to sit here and accept your draw 4 silently.
There's a part of me, and I'm tired of talking about him because I feel like he doesn't even deserve to be mentioned because he quit and threw a temper tantrum when he didn't get his way. But I really do feel like Zach sort of poisoned this game from the beginning, like with the way that people were being threatened. And, you know, I go back to, and we talked about it tonight, the way that Hope was literally threatened and Ty came at him like aggressively and like almost like physically threatening because Hope wanted to use the veto that he won to take himself off the block. Like for the first we're I think 6 weeks into this game now, day 41. Like for the first 3 weeks of this game, this was like the Zach and Ty show, and it was anytime anyone even uttered a thought about possibly doing something that they might not like, it was like, oh, I think you should think very carefully about that. I don't think you should do that. And it's like, no, well, the majority of the House wants this, and I feel like now we're still seeing like remnants of that. You know what I mean? Like I feel like
I agree. To an extent, like I think we still would have seen this in a way anyway because Ty is gross. Like
sure.
It was definitely the combination of the two of them, but like Ty really sucks too.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
I
like, agree.
The bullying and everything. Like I still feel like Ty is a little bit more of a bully than Zach. Zach's just louder,
right?
You know, but I think Ty is kind of grosser.
Ty is gross. He really is.
Yeah, he really.
Gross.
Like no one seems to actually have like a good relationship with him. Like at least with Zach, like some people did like him. We didn't see why. Like, but Daniel seemed to really be endeared towards him. I mean, also we want to be endeared towards Daniel because he is endeared towards Kuzi, who we love, right? So there may have been something else to Zach that we didn't necessarily see. Like I still think that the behavior we saw still paints him as an asshole. Like this is not a complete defense, but I'm just saying, like, I just think that Ty is a little grosser. That's all.
And
did
Zach,
you see
by the way,
Twitter thing? Are you going to say what I was just going to say?
Oh yeah, I tweeted about it, and I've gotten 60 more likes on Zach's own tweet than he has.
Kyle, you know what we're talking about or not?
No.
So somebody on Renee's team, one of her friends or family or something.
I think it's a family member.
Yeah. Tweeted yesterday. They just started a Twitter account for her, and they said, we're almost at 100 followers. Zach quote tweeted it and said, LOL, Twitter game as strong as her comp game.
Yes, that I saw.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's ridiculous.
Now, he's been ratioed so bad in this. He has 29 likes on this, 52 quote tweets or retweets, and 116 comments. My comment, I said, dude, you quit the game because you didn't get your way and threw a temper tantrum like a child. Just stop. I have 89 likes on my response, 60 more likes than he has on his own.
So sad.
But I also love... Go ahead.
So by the way, Renee now has 1,245 followers. So
and how many does Zach have?
100 yesterday to over 1,200 now. Zach currently sits at 745 followers. So Renee now has 500 more followers than Zach does.
That's so embarrassing.
Yeah, but it's so nice.
And like you just have to leave the tweet up. Like you can't take it down.
Right.
Because like everyone has already screenshotted at this point.
Right.
So if you take it down,
you can't
it's
walk
actually
back on
worse.
it.
Right. Yeah. Because now like you're just acknowledging that you realize you're a clown. Yeah. Terrible.
And like what's
it's
funny?
So yummy.
What's funny is that like people have short memories. So if he was to now come out on social media and just say things like, "Oh, I was really wrong," you know, and nobody has to do anything that they don't want to. But like, if he was to come out now instead on social media and be like, "Oh, like I definitely didn't act the way I should have in there. I can't wait to watch the rest of the season and continue to root for these people that I was in there with," and blah, 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 his public persona would skyrocket. But instead, he is choosing.
Look at the difference. If we're looking at like BB24, look at the difference between like Daniel and Nicole. No one really talks about Nicole anymore because she left the house and was like, "Oh, I was kind of shitty. Maybe I need to like really like reevaluate." And no one ever talked about her again. People are still shitting on Daniel.
Yeah, because he won't stop. He just tries to feed into it, and he doesn't let anybody reply to any of his. He has all the commenting off, and it's like all you have to do is say nothing or just be nice, and people will forget what you did, and they'll start to like you. If you should try to atone for your sins, and instead he just keeps pouring fuel on the fire to the point where like he continues to be made a fool of. I don't understand it. I don't understand like why that would be the reaction that you have when you come out of the house. Is I was a jerk in there and people don't like me, so now I'm going to continue to be a jerk even weeks after I have walked out of the game and thrown a temper tantrum. But
and like the Renee Twitter thing was also like, you're coming for her family. Like,
yeah,
none of them did anything to you. Like, her, like, sister or whoever is running her account was, like, excited to be like, "Oh, look at how many followers we have. Why are you coming for her?
Yeah,
you never met this woman."
It's not even Renee. Yeah,
Renee is not the person using the Twitter account. Like, what are you doing?
Please let her sister be this, like, little girl with, like, these big chunky glasses and, like, pigtails and, like, little pink bows and, like, so excited for her 100 followers just to get trolled.
Like, why are you shitting on her family member? Yeah. They did nothing to you. Renee did nothing to you, but her family member really did nothing to you.
She's coming home with her like daisies on her denim backpack. She can't wait to check her phone.
I like how we have no idea who runs this account, and Kyle's decided it's a 9-year-old girl.
But I mean, even if it's like his mom or something, that's still, you know, like
someone you've never met that you're coming for no reason.
I just think it's just so funny to think a grown man is like trolling a child. Like that's the image I want.
Right.
Like that's what I want.
He's trolling a child and then gets completely ratioed.
And she's like, you know what? I'll respond to that in a minute. I have to check my Tamagotchi. That's the image I want. Silly.
But yeah.
Sorry.
I think that's all I got. The only other thing I have to say is that I'm very curious to see how the Fatal Feast turns out. But that's it.
I just hate that these twists always end up happening on the HOH of someone we like. Like, where was this bullshit last week when freaking Ty was in power? I don't want something to screw up Kuzi.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Although it could end up being a great week. Maybe we lose somebody we don't like, and then Kuzi also gets a target out that she wants out. You know, like
I mean, what is she not right? I mean,
to be fair, I'm used to like U.S. Big Brother where these things never pan out the way that we want them to. So I'm a little jaded, but I don't know. Maybe Ty could go home. I don't know.
And maybe they're also doing this. I did see some speculation online that of trying to make sure there was a double or a triple so that there can be a jury battle back because they don't have enough players to do that. So what if this is like, who knows? Just more speculation.
Just to like extend the season a little bit or something. Yeah.
You know, just things to ponder.
It's been a long time since we saw a battle back of any kind. And I would definitely welcome that.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? Just something I saw on the Twitter feed there. Okay. Speaking of which, you can find us on the socials at StratChatPod. You can also find us on YouTube and all that. You know, like, subscribe, tell a friend, keep hanging out. It's fun to see people. That's all we got. Any final thoughts for our friends here?
I think that's it.
Oh, what
Queen
are we doing?
All hail.
Ooh. All hail indeed. All hail indeed. Take a knee, please. What are we doing on Monday? We got Survivor 44. For our friends here, catching up. We have the last 2 episodes that we'll be chatting about. heard there's some kind of unexpected twist or something. I didn't watch last night.
Yeah, I saw Twitter was ablaze, but I don't.
Yeah,
I was
it was-
trying not to look because I haven't watched it yet, but apparently something's going down.
Yeah, something happened, and I do appreciate the fact that a lot of people use the hashtags consistently. It made it very easy to skip, so I was not spoiled. So thank you for the respect. Yeah, so there's that. So that's what we're doing on Monday at 9:30. Mikey should be back. We didn't confirm. He said he put it in his calendar, so there's that. And then next week, next Thursday, we're talking Big Brother Canada 11 again. That'll be at 9:30. Chatting about Queen Koozi's HOH week as well as this Fatal Feast. All right, so lots going on. So again, find us on social, Strat Chat Pod, and we're out of here. Thanks a lot.